Queensland's Chief Health Officer Jeanette Young insists it's time for residents of the Sunshine State to regain their lives. Georgia Simpson joins us live from Queensland. Georgia, despite these comments, still no reopening date, leaving many in limbo. Queensland residents, people outside of Queensland, people wanting to see family, book a holiday and so on.
Good morning to you, Tom. Yes, all of the above. And the border actually closed about 10 weeks ago, and it resulted in more than 8,000 residents of Queensland being locked out of the state and unable to return home. Many are now homeless as a result of this. And the ABC is reporting today that those who are homeless on the border are actually accessing homeless support services in northern New South Wales, despite the fact that they are Queensland residents with homes in Queensland and lives to return to. They just can't get across the border. Now, Christmas is just around the corner, and the tourism industry, which is a huge part of the state's economy, is barely hanging on. They're calling for a date on when the borders will reopen because they are really relying on the school holiday period to prop them up, because as I said, they are barely hanging on. The Deputy Premier, Stephen Miles, said the state government is unable to provide a date on when borders will reopen because they're not quite sure when Queensland will hit their vaccination targets, but there hasn't been a clear, definitive or consistent answer on what Queensland's threshold is. Our Chief Health Officer, Dr. Jeanette Young, has said it's time that we normalise COVID, but the only way to do that is if we get vaccinated.
I just can't see that we can keep the virus out for much longer. We have done so well. I mean, Queenslanders have been fantastic. But it's time for us to normalise this. So at the moment, every time someone has a bit of a headache or a sniffle, I'm saying, come and get tested. We've got to move on from there. We've really got to regain our full lives.
It's been a bit of a long and tortured road at times, and some interesting comments from Jeanette Young previously on AstraZeneca, for example. But look, we can all get behind it, get vaccinated now. Message, Georgia. What about the latest move from Queensland? Bunnings get a sausage and a jab. How did that go over the weekend?
Tom, I'm not sure it went as Queensland authorities had hoped for. Across the 33 stores in Queensland on Saturday, just 4,000 doses of the vaccine were administered. There are reports of some locations being quite empty. Among those is the Burleigh Waters location on the Gold Coast. Now, of course, the Sunday figures haven't been released yet, but if Saturday's numbers are anything to go by, it may not have been the push that Queensland health authorities were hoping for. As it stands, just over 55% of Queenslanders have now had 2 doses of the vaccine, and more than 71% have had that first dose. So we're not coming last anymore. That's Western Australia, but we are coming second last, and we still do have a fair way to go before we hit that 80% vaccination target, Tom.
Yeah, every little helps. It'll be interesting to see as they get to some of the regions in Queensland might need more ways of getting people to get the jab. Georgia, thank you.